moments of tested, go ahead. She'll get set in her head. Personal failures, expectations, loss, and weight of circumstances. Yet they endured, resisted, and found a new meaning in the aftermath. Acceptance is something we grow into different chapters of our lives through our identity, family, community, and the spaces that we feel seen and understood. We hope today's cinematic trip to Viet Film Fest inspires you to keep your heart open, to listen, to learn, and to connect with the many stories around you. From your unfiltered homies that you have with you today, your friends, your families, and the future connections you build. Your story matters too, and remember, life isn't easy. We're all figuring it out and finding ways to endure it together. With that said, aside from the films today, we do have a few members of the cast and crew and directors from the films. So please join me on stage right now is Jolie, the actress from Little Bird. It's with great pleasure to invite up director Nguyen-Le from Threads. Alrighty, welcome guys. So we'll have a quick introduction. So your name, the film that you're a part of, your role, and do you choose Fa or Bumoe?
Hi, my name is Jolie. I play Twee from Little Bird, and I like Bumoe better.
Hi, I'm Nguyen-Le. I directed and produced Threads, the last film you just saw, and I'm vegetarian, but still Bumoe.
All right, so quick audience reactions. Who chose Fa? It's kind of quiet. Wow, this whole crew. Bumoe. All right, Bumoe out there, yeah! Sounds good. So quick group question for you. What are some influences, or what made you be a part of your film or decide to direct about your film? So being a part of your film and then being the director of your film.
What inspired this?
Yes, inspired. Yeah.
I'll start since you started with the last question. For me, I've made documentaries for a number of years. They're always kind of in and around Vietnamese American identity, and this film and this doc sort of expanded on the idea, right, of like what kind of counts as Vietnamese, what goes under the umbrella of Vietnamese. And for me, this year, Threads is a part of a series of 5 films that I produced. 3 directed and 2 were directed by someone else, including The Market, which plays in another block at Viet Film Fest. That was directed by Nguyen-Le, who also did Little Bird. Anyway, I think we were just thinking about, 50 years since the end of the Vietnam War, the end of the secret war in Laos, and the beginning of the Cambodian genocide. So much of our history in Asia is tied and interconnected, but then when we come to the US, we don't really know about that history and how we're sort of connected, and I think that was the impetus for this project. Like now looking back 50 years later, how can we think more diversely and more openly about who gets to be counted in this greater narrative about what we're saying is like the Vietnam War.
Thank you.
Wait, what was the question?
So what inspired you, or what made you want to be part of the film that you're in, especially Little Bird?
Well, I started modeling when I was 4 years old, then I slowly did commercials, and acting came naturally. So, but it was really fun to see how the Vietnam War was back then.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it's a different experience from modeling, and then now you're into acting. That's nice. Question for Quyên. As this film showcases different narratives of the Montenegrin community, how was it recruiting or outreaching to the individuals in your film like?
So because I live in California, and the film was filmed in North Carolina, I depended a lot on people who are community organizers. So I worked with a nonprofit based in DC called CIRAC, Southeast Asian Resource Action Center. And they had already been organizing with people like Soon, who's in the film. And so actually when we reached out, it was more like, hey Soon, like I'm trying to make a film. I want to include different generations, like older folks like yourself, and maybe even younger. Who do you think would be interested? And then from there, she sort of introduced me to some people. I talked to them on Zoom and I called them. and we sort of tried to figure out. But it was kind of natural that she and her parents ended up being in the film, just because she was already so connected to people with her work, organizing high school students for the canvassing and things like that.
Yeah, I love the display of all the different generations. Kind of similar to what we do with VSA. Who here is in VSA? We got a few people in the audience. Yeah, kind of similar with like showing culture, community building, and like building those spaces for folks, and then educating our folks about so much more than just culture and such. For Jolie, how well did you relate to your character in Little Bird? Or what did you learn about your character as you were part of the filming process?
Well, like, not really sure.
You're not really sure? Okay. What was your favorite part then of the film?
My favorite part was when like all the kids had to like dance around to a Vietnamese song. So that was really fun.
Yeah, that looked really fun. So before we move forward, you guys have, if you have any questions, we'll pass the mic in a bit. But I'll ask a few more questions and get back to you guys. All right, another question for you both. What was your favorite memory while working on the film, other than that dancing scene and I guess the multiple parts of communicating with the fellow community member? Oh, that's a different question for her. Nice.
You know, I really loved, in general, just being in North Carolina. I'd not been there before, or just American South in general. I'd been in like New Orleans and Georgia, but I think when you get out of California and you see how Asian folks live in different parts of the country that maybe you don't know about or have stereotypes about, you know, like, oh my God, what's in North Carolina? And so I really enjoyed going there and then going to Viet places that were run by Montagnard people, and you can kind of tell just based on little things. So that's one of my favorite parts of making the film, was like being there and kind of getting out of my bubble of being born and raised in California, and sort of like this, we have like such a big community here that we think like maybe the rest of the country doesn't have its own version, and I really enjoyed being in Greensboro because I think there's actually a lot of Southeast Asian people there who came after the war, and I didn't know about that.
Sounds good. All right, questions from the audience. Who has any questions? No questions. All right, right there. Or comments, or any shared moments you had with the films today.
I have a question for Quyên. Oh, hi. You mentioned like traveling to so many places to film for Threads. I wanted to ask, was there one thing that you found in common in all of those like groups of people and places?
Yeah, so for the whole series I traveled. For Threads, it was just in North Carolina, but I mean, it was already selective of like Southeast Asian communities who came here to the US as refugees. And I think maybe something that resonates, especially in this block, is like wanting to learn language or having access to language as a way to kind of access your own history. And even in Threads, right, there's multiple languages because Montagnard is an umbrella term that incorporates a lot of different ethnicities, and within that, people have different languages. So in my film, it's mostly Bunong people. But so there's like English, right? And then there's Vietnamese, which is the language of Vietnam. But then there's Bunong, and the different kind of ways that people can communicate and pass on culture when there's a language barrier. And throughout the series, so we have like Vietnamese, Khmer, Lao, Mien, Punong, like Hmong, there's like so many languages and we don't understand each other, but there's like this shared language of our shared history. But within the generations, I think that's like the work that makes it really hard. It's like speaking languages. And so the work of the translators, not just the translators for the film, but like in the community, is so strong. And I think sometimes it's so invisible what they do, like when people can bridge languages. And that was key for us making the film. And I think that's key for us, like in our lives, in our future, to kind of be bilingual, trilingual, like speak multiple languages.
Thank you for your question. Anyone else with questions? Oh, right here in the center. Thank you, Bree.
What advice would you give for like, in terms of like documentation, like in terms of the process, like any like advice in terms of how to plan it out and yeah.
In terms of making documentaries, I really love them. When I was younger, I actually thought documentaries were like super boring because like, you know, they would be like assigned in class and I'd be like, oh my God, it's not as creative as films where you get to write and stuff. But I think if anyone's interested in doing documentaries, especially about your own family, that's a good place to start because I think that's where your curiosity is. I would just say like follow with like, I don't know, like obviously you have to know how to use a camera and things, but I think you can start small, right? Like if you're curious about a family member and their history and what they went through, I think just talking to them about it and making, like starting to cut a film about it is a great place to start with docs. But feel free to ask me more specific questions if that's not what you meant.
All right, any other questions in the crowd? Oh, right there. Any other questions in the back? Right. A question for Jolie. Who were your favorite actors and actresses that you worked with on the film?
Well, I really liked everyone, but I was really close with Lynn
Okay.
or Chantel.
Chantel, yeah, she was here earlier. How was it working with her on the film?
It was great. She was very nice and sweet.
Oh, that's good to
I
hear,
loved
yeah.
everyone.
That's good. Nice. Another question for you both. What are some projects you guys are working on in the future?
Well, I'm not really sure, but I don't think there's any like ones coming up yet.
Okay.
So yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So I just finished the series that Threads is a part of last month. So taking a little break from doing more stuff, but I think I'm curious to make more documentaries about our community and sort of maybe kind of bring it more into the present about what's happening now. Although I think there's always remnants of history in everything that you do now. I'm going to advocate for a bit. So earlier this year, Congress took back funding from PBS, and I know a lot of people know PBS as like Arthur or like kids shows, but actually this documentary series that I produced, including Threads, was funded through the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. They really support filmmakers of color across the country, and that was like one of the only ways that you can make a film without being attached to like a corporation like Netflix or something. And so that was a really huge loss, and I think that it's just something, as you all move forward, I think you can support your local media and kind of check out what they have too, because sometimes it's like, I don't know, you can like go to the library or like check out the local PBS stuff because they have a lot of great things and they really need the support right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of like episodes, not just about our like other communities too, but sometimes they have a Vietnamese community one or like a Southeast Asian one too. So check it out, check out PBS, and then it's more than just kids shows, guys. There's like a lot of things to check out on there. We'll do one more question, right? All right.
Sorry. This is for Quyên, and I wanted to ask, like, how did you find out the story about the tribe and the woman who was weaving?
So I think just in general, I'm someone who watches like other films and I study a lot about being Vietnamese. When I was in college, I got really obsessed with it because I didn't grow up in Orange County and I grew up in a place where I didn't really know a lot about my history. And because I'm also queer, I felt like really separate from it as a young person. So like seeing this block, I was like kind of low-key crying. Like when you separate yourself from your family a little bit, you don't know a lot. So this is a really long-winded way to get to your question. So in Vietnam, there is formal recognition of 52 ethnicities besides skin, which is the like quote unquote what we call Vietnamese. That's what I am. And so I always knew that there were other ethnic groups in Vietnam. And then in the US, I think maybe the first time I specifically heard about Montagnard people was actually through another filmmaker whose film was here at Viet Film Fest a couple of years ago. It's a film called Fighting for Family, which you can also see on PBS, directed by Nguyen-Le. And that film is about someone who is also from North Carolina. He's also Montagnard, and he was deported. And he was separated from his family. He still is. And that was like one of the first times that I heard in the US about North Carolina specifically. But to kind of go back to your question about Sachi, who's the weaver, I met her because she's sort of a visible person in the community too, because she does a lot of work teaching elders art, like not just art for like to be like an artist, but to like use art to kind of express their feelings. So I was really looking for someone who was like both doing art as an artist, but also had some kind of like community tie into what they were doing. And so I was really fortunate that she was really open to sharing and like letting me follow her around a lot.
Thank you. So we're gonna do a quick lightning round or fun questions. Favorite late night meal? What do you like to eat at late night? Could be snacks or.
Well, I usually snack throughout the day, but like, I really love fruit, so
Fruits?
yeah.
All right.
Tacos.
Tacos, nice. Favorite ice cream flavor?
Vanilla or vanilla bean.
Okay.
Okay, durian.
Oh, nice. Nice, nice. Most memorable teacher?
My third grade teacher, Miss Geller.
Nice.
I gotta say my high school film teacher, Miss Evelyn Subert.
Nice. A co-star actor or actress that you would love to work with?
I'd love to work with Lynn again or Chantel, but we actually did for another movie
Oh, nice.
called Peter and Wendy.
Ooh, I think. We'll look forward to it next year then, hopefully.
Oh my god, I'm spazzing out because I work in documentary and I can't think of that.
Who would you like to narrate your documentaries?
Oh, narration.
Narration, yes, let's go there.
Okay, let me think of someone with like a really good voice. Are you guys giving me suggestions?
This is a fun group.
I can't hear anything.
Speak louder.
You guys are here. Oh, Dwayne The Rock Johnson?
All right,
Okay.
The Rock, let's do that. Sounds good. But yeah, I would like to thank Jolie and Quyên for being here today for the high school screening set. Please give them a round of applause. Oh yeah, they talked for a while. Yes. All right, guys. Yes, Val. Alrighty. On behalf of VAALA, I would like to thank you all for joining us here at Viet Film Fest to listen to stories and conversations on the big screen. Follow us on Instagram at Viet Film Fest and share your experiences from today on your social media. Thank you.